What's good, YouTube? Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast, talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Auburn coming to the last regular season game of the 2019 season. A very interesting year for the Tigers that saw Auburn surprisingly struggle on the offensive side of the football field. I mean, I just didn't think that, in all the analysis that I did over the, off season, Gus Malzahn calling plays again. I'm thinking about all the, hypothetical weapons that he had. You talk about guys like, Sean Shivers and Anthony Schwartz, Seth Williams, Harold Joyner. Things have just not been as statistically consistent as I would have expected, considering Gus Malzahn's past. Some folks put it on the true freshman quarterback. A lot of it, I think, could be a factor. But if Auburn would have done their due diligence recruiting-wise, a true freshman would not have had to take on the starting position in probably one of the most difficult schedules, at least in Auburn's recent history. So tonight, we're not going to get into much logistics about, how the comparison and contrast of Auburn against Alabama. My biggest thing is, what is Gus Malzahn's mindset at this point? When it comes to calling plays, when it comes to the offensive approach, what is the mindset? Because there clearly has been somewhat of a lack of urgency in the LSU, Georgia, and Florida games, not averaging but about 17 points in all of those games. Clearly, the defense played more than well enough for Auburn to win those games. I think probably one of the more, at least as far as giving up the big plays, Florida and Georgia actually surprisingly were the games where, the floodgates kind of opened for Auburn. For the most part, though, Auburn's defense gave this offense way more than enough opportunity to win all three of those games. Let's be honest. A sound offense, I'm talking about an offense that can maneuver on at least a fundamental level, could possibly be a one-loss team for Auburn this year. Gus Malzahn's offense, just to be real, has just been disappointing. And it has caused the Auburn fan base to continue to question whether Gus Malzahn has the mentality, whether Gus Malzahn has that level of urgency to succeed as not only an SEC West coach, but as a high-end Power 5 coach. Because at a certain point, when you're in a leadership position, that urgency that says, hey, we have to execute this, that urgency as it relates to play calling, just still too passive. The same old passivity that Gus Malzahn has shown over the years in these big games, that passive nature that somewhat in a very insulting way says, well, we always got next year. Our guys are hurting in the locker room. They put it all on the line. We had opportunities. At this point, that's where the heartburn is coming. And that's why, of all the pretty decent things that Gus Malzahn has done, this is one of those games where I'm afraid that you go in with a real passive nature on offense, thinking you got opportunities when you got to seize the moment. You gotta go for it when it's... See, it's easy to make the call to go for it against Sanford because, basically there's nothing to lose. But going for it against Alabama is a little different because you got to think about it. Okay, if I don't get it, there could be some repercussions down the road that says, man, maybe I shouldn't have gone for it. Or if you don't go for it, you got to weigh all of those things out as a coach in a game against Alabama. Yeah, it's easy to go for it on fourth against Sanford because you're going to get some more opportunities. Just your physicality alone will give you another opportunity. And your defense is going to shut a team like that out. But I'm telling you, Auburn has a serious challenge this weekend against Alabama Tua Tagovailoa is not going to play. But you still have some of the best recruited players in the country. No matter what level they are at now or the level of experience, they're still on that football team, and they're still coached by Nick Saban. So you can't take this team for granted just because Tua Tagovailoa is not playing. What kind of mentality is Gus Malzahn is going to have in this game? It's time to get aggressive, Gus. It's time to give the fan base a reason to be proud of this program and a reason to trust you. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart for the podcast Auburn Football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. All right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn Football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Let's agree to disagree. It's always great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. One of my favorite games of the year, Auburn taking on Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Man, if you live in the state of Alabama, you're forced to choose one side. Either it's War Eagle or it's Roll Tide. As a matter of fact, Alabama comes into this thing. They don't mind putting their money where their mouth is, as they're about to put $126 million into renovations for Bryant-Denny Stadium. Something that's been a big topic for Auburn is facilities. Man, you got to get your standalone athletic football facility so you can start attracting some of these high-maintenance, five-star athletes to your program. Is Auburn genuinely committed to it? Well, they say they are. They've actually started the groundbreaking, I guess you could say. But we will see how that turns out. The Iron Bowl opens up with Alabama as a 3.5-point favorite, which we projected here on Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. ESPN gives Alabama a 70-30 chance of beating Auburn, which absolutely makes sense because Alabama recruits on a high level, probably has at least statistically more talent than the Auburn Tigers. But these Tigers bring in a very, very good defense that could be chasing Mac Jones around. Tua Tagovailoa, for those of you all who have been sleeping under a rock, will not be playing in the Iron Bowl. Matter of fact, Tua Tagovailoa may not be playing football, period, for Alabama again, and hopefully not so again, period. Suffered a hip injury in the game against Mississippi State and has been wheelchair bound ever since. This is going to be a great game, guys. Auburn and Alabama never disappoints. Even last year, you look at the score 52-21, but that was a very competitive game up until midway through the third quarter. Like I said before, one of my favorite games to watch. Will Bo Nix pull some more heroics like he did in the Oregon game against Alabama? Will he actually start to hit guys who are wide open? Will Gus Malzahn eliminate the stubbornness and actually have a balanced attack, a sensible attack against a top 10 opponent? All of that has yet to be seen as Auburn takes on Alabama. Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. This is a celebration of one of the best rivalries in all of college football, the Iron Bowl. So many moving parts, so many historical moments in this game. We got a long week before Saturday, 3:30 kickoff. Alabama opens the betting lines up at 3.5 favorite. Too close for comfort. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.